Ready?
Hello and welcome to Rhythm and Pixels, a video game music podcast. This is episode, I don't remember, 35-3. And we're your hosts. My name is Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
And every week we listen to great video game music from all consoles and all generations. But this week is very special because this week we celebrate our 7th anniversary on the show. 7th anniversary doing the show.
7 years. 7 years of podcasting. 7 years of madcap hijinks.
7 years of video game music. 7 years of me not really playing video games that much.
Hey, it's
7 years of you bringing Wawa and eating it in my basement or my office.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's just how it works, man. Some things just need to be consistent.
We are live streaming this episode all on Twitch, twitch.tv/rhythmandpixels. I want to thank everyone who's joining us there today. It's Electric Boogaloo, GameFan44, Martyrus, Mike, we got Ulf Person,
Curly Kevin,
Misasha219, Curly Kevin. Everyone's hanging out. People, I suspect people are probably going to dive in and out of the show. Maybe we'll get a fun Twitch bot in there. It's going to give us some ads for some penis pills. I cannot wait to see it.
Oh boy! Only if they're discounted. I don't take full price anything.
And then after this, we're having dinner and playing board games. So this is a full night.
That's right,
yeah.
Which I'm fine with.
What we do on our anniversary show is listen to our favorite songs of the past year.
And believe it or not, that is extremely difficult to pull off.
We play a lot of music on this show. We are a weekly podcast. I missed last week. Let's not talk about that one. But we are a weekly podcast. So that's a lot of shows. We included the bonus beats because the bonus beats are like when we can't get together or I want to do something special, and it's like a mixtape of music. But this is a lot. So we decided to nail down each of us to get 10 of our favorite tracks.
And there's something to be said about this too, because we were talking about this upstairs earlier. I was talking about it with a friend last night, and I was talking about it on Thursday during the Game Awards too. There's something to be said about picking a list of favorites, because if you go at it from the full scale, like the game community at large, most of the time they're going to be from tracks of games that most people have played. You know, the big budget releases that if someone's only buying 2 or 3 games an entire year, it's going to be one of those 3 games, right? So God of War Ragnarok, this track is my favorite track of the year or whatever. But if you go down to the micro level individuals, some that play tons of different games, some that play games that you on sale, whatever, what have you, suddenly the scope expands, which means you might find yourself hearing tracks that are favorites or games that are favorites may come up in the Game of the Year episode that we'll do later.
We'll do that one later because you'll be in charge of that.
Oh yeah,
you'll be in charge of the person who actually played the games.
So like fun fact, I've played like 200 games this year, so that's a lot. But when you get to the micro level, you start hearing people suggest games that other people are like, what the hell game is that? And I can assure you that on this episode, on this podcast, many of our favorite tracks are going to be from games where it's like maybe 5 people have played them.
Yeah, mine run the gamut. I picked a lot of classic stuff. My absolute favorite track, I guarantee no one played.
Really?
No one played it.
Interesting.
You didn't play it.
Now that's a shocker. It's gonna be from Armored Core.
It's the best track. It's the best track of the decade, at least.
Damn,
I know.
That's volumes. You're putting out there some vibes, my friend.
It's really good. It's really, really good. So let's look back on the year. So we've had probably like 49 mainline episodes.
Okay.
Because
bonus beats,
maybe 48. We have had. Let me count these through. I want to thank our guests that we've had on this year. We've only had 8 guests this year, which is actually kind of light. We usually do a little bit more. It's
a combination of just being like, I don't know, it's just me, but like sometimes I'm like, I don't want to really bother the guests and be like, hey, you want to come on our show? We're real super nerd fans. You want to come on our show?
And a lot of it's
feels
just
weird sometimes.
Coordination of like schedules and stuff. So we want to thank Dedeco. We want to thank Martyrus, Rage Cage, Chris Baines, Carlos. We had Carlos on the show this year. Nintendrew.
That was fun.
That was a good one. Quad Pro Quo, which we still need to hook up with.
Yes,
they're in Delaware.
Mm-hmm.
They do a great show.
Yes, they do. But the only thing is, my goal is I want to be the one that chooses the movie because I got some movies I can finally get people to force them to talk about this film with me. You bet your sweet Bippy.
I don't think I'm going to watch Midsommar, but I think you
Predestination.
And Bedroth. I want to thank Bedroth as well. We had Bedroth on the show. But can you think? I mean, I'm putting you on the spot. Is there a topic or an episode this past year that you've liked the most?
I like the weird ones.
The weird ones.
I liked Fly Cry Baby a lot.
I like that one a lot.
I liked Hard as Nails because I just like discussing difficult games in general. The Pernell multiverse was just fun because it got me thinking about a lot of like my past stuff and just like being goofy. Good Place Games was a great time.
Yeah, that was really, really good. I liked the Madden Effect. I think that was a podcast.
That was
Patreon
insane.
episode. That was really funny. I like episodes where we dive into kind of the history of some things I might not know about, like Sonic Origins and Sonic Handhelds.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Sonic Handhelds was the one because I never played a lot of the handheld games, especially the Game Gear ones. And so it was really fun to listen to all that music.
Mm-hmm.
So those are some of my favorites.
And though I can't name a specific topic for this, I do like episode topics where it's like usually guests will bring it up, or even you will. But a lot of times the guest will be like, I want to do this. And I'm like, I have like no experience with any of this. Despite all the stuff I spend time on, I have nothing here, which means I got to do extra homework to find games. It's just I do how I do is I got to play them too within like a period of like a week or two. To be like, okay, I was able to find these games and play them, so now I feel comfortable picking tracks from them. Let's go.
Something else we did this year was we celebrated our 300th episode.
Whoa, that was something.
That was pretty closely right after our anniversary show.
Because that was the one where in the Oddcast, was that the one we picked like our favorite tracks from the entire run of the show?
I think so. Actually,
or it was favorite topics. It was favorite topics.
Favorite topics,
and
we chose new ones. Because I was like, there's all new picks on the spreadsheet here. But yeah, so that's really good. And we also did a PAX Super Show. Our next episode next week is going to be all about Penny Arcade Expo Unplugged, which I actually went to this year.
Actually, it depends. We'll have to figure it out.
Unless we get the guest on.
Yeah, because I do want to do the Penny Arcade Expo stuff because, like you said, you did get to go, which means you guys need to talk about some stuff that you liked there. But we got a surprise pinch hitter guest on the show that's coming on next week. And he basically is going to be playing a live set at MAGFest, and he's got a new album coming out before MAGFest.
The MAGFest is coming up soon, which is also terrifying to me. Like, what? How did that happen so fast?
It just creeps up. The whole all we have to do is make sure we get in there and set up our stuff in advance, and everything else will just happen. That's how it works. I'm gonna tell you. I get anxious every year, every time I'm on a panel for MAG. It's never been a panel that I made myself. It's always been like I was on SM. Yeah. I'll get invited. Like it'll be SML. 1 year, X Strike Studios. Every year they do Name That Tune, and they had me come up there to help run it, like with the audio and stuff. So they had a full ballroom, full of people, was packed, and they had me in charge of updating the scoreboard. That was all I had to do, and I messed up during the panel, and everybody was looking at me like, this guy can't run a scoreboard. I'm like, look here, man, it's my first day. Get off the back. It was like the anxiety was all in here, but I was like, play it off.
So we're not going to do a Name That Tune on our show, but we got to come up with something fun.
No, we could. That's the thing. We could. I have ideas, but we have to talk about
that later. All right. So we're going to go in. This is an odd numbered episode, so you're going to kick us off. We have each of us pick maybe our top 2 or maybe top 3 of the entire year, but the rest was really hard to organize, especially since a lot of the music is very different.
Mm-hmm. So it's just these are the favorites, but not ordered favorites until you get to the back end.
All right, I'm going to guess. I want to make some early guesses about what's going to be in your picks.
Now, making sure you did not see this large purple and black post-it note.
I can't read your handwriting from here.
Oh, good.
If I get up close to it, I still can't read it. All right, I'm going to guess that you got some La Mulana music. I'm going to guess that you've got... man, that's all I've got.
and the answer to that is no, you're wrong.
And I'm wrong. Okay.
You're wrong about that. This will be a trip then. Okay. So, and also I asked if you had these tracks because I feel like I'm worried that a company's going to be like, crap, where did I get this track the first time we played it?
Oh, really? Well, we can find these things as we go.
Well, let's make the first one be exactly that. So, my first track comes from the game Radio Viscera, and the track title is called See Something, Slay Something, composed by Owen Deary.
Do you remember which episode that was from?
I do. 32-8, the Pernell Multiverse aired on May 18th, 2022.
Oh, okay. I don't have dates.
I got all the dates right before we started.
Oh, man.
welcome back. You were just listening to See Something, Slay Something from the game Radio Viscera, composed by Owen Deering and played on episode 32-8, the Pernell Multiverse, on May 18, 2022. So, fun fact, I'm going to get worried when we get to the top 3, and I'm like, wait a minute, this probably should have been in the top 3 after all, because I'm sorry. Like I said earlier in the episode, we had a year of fantastic music selections, whether it be by us, through Patreon submissions, through guest submissions. It's just been good music. And when you get to that level of quality jams, and you're told to kill some of your babies off and keep only 10 for survival.
This is one.
It is hard.
So what was about this one? Like why is this up here?
It's the energy. It's like,
the energy.
And even for the episode proper, I was torn between picking this track and another track called Destination Defenestration, which is the title alone just makes me laugh. But it's just, I like when games come out of left field. Like, I had never heard of this game. It was just, hey, Pernell, you want to review this game? I'm like, I don't have time for this crap. Well, I guess fine, whatever. And then I'm playing, I'm like, this is amazing. This is hitting all the notes. And it's a surprise, which makes it 10 times better. So I didn't expect it to be good. The gameplay hits right. It's just silly. You got a guy who has a gun that can suck things in and blow things out. More so blow things away than suck them in. And you're just going through a facility, destroying it, and killing a bunch of secret agents and stuff that are trying to take you out. And this music is playing as you're running through the facility, dodging like metal lasers and beams and stuff. And it's just hitting you. It gets you pumped.
Yeah, it's really good. Like when that synthesizer comes in right here. Right here. That's really good. Because like that driving guitar and that really distorted like chunky bass is it's really good. It's got like a garage bandy indie rock style.
I just had an idea for an episode too. We should get Ed Wilson on, and it becomes an educational episode almost, where the entire point of the episode is to discuss music styles.
Yes.
Because I'm that guy where you'll be like, what is it about this track? I'm like, it has a and I'm like, I don't know where to begin for describing this. I just know I like it. It is good.
Yeah. It's like describing wine. You just got to use every word you can think of. All right. I'm gonna do what we usually do. And that's like I'm gonna pick some music that complements the music that you're playing.
Okay.
All right. So we had Dedeco come on. Dedeco is an amazing club DJ who plays video game music and does these incredible mixes on YouTube where he mixes entire genres, entire game series. Like he did all of Ape Escape, I think except for the first one, but like a huge DJ continuous mix of this music, and it's so good. And he played music from Armored Core 4. And I remember Armored Core, but I don't remember listening to the music of the newer ones. Mm-hmm. And I had no idea it went into this direction. So a week or two later, a few weeks later, we did an episode called Too Many Mechs.
Yes.
333.
Oh, yeah.
And you picked this one. It was called Twist It from Armored Core 4. Mm. This is Kota Hashino, arranged by Ayako Minami. It's so good. Twist It from Armored Core 4, Kota Hishino, arranged by Ayako Minami. That track, it just sticks with you.
Sticks to your gums like peanut butter.
Sticks to your ribs.
like ribs.
Like peanut butter. Too Many Mechs was one of the episodes that we had on our list of topics to do for at least 4 years.
Yes.
We just never did it. I don't know why we never did that.
And I'll tell you something. It's a little bit of a spoiler for the episode proper, but it's a shame that we took this long because I'm pretty sure for this year it's going to be our favorite overall track blend. When you talk about our top tracks, it's going to be our favorite episode by far. And I'm going to go so far as to say Kota Hishino will be back later on.
Oh, I so hope they bring Kota Hishino back.
No, I mean back on this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Because I also have a track. But
did I just move some things around for you?
No, it was already there.
It was already there. Okay. I'm thinking because I know that they announced Armored Core 7. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking Kota Hishino better be back.
Oh, yeah. Better be.
Because this vibe with like these heavy metal mech like robot fighting, like it's such a cool concept. Like
the only thing I hope they do,
it's so neat.
I'm not the most familiar with the old ones because I didn't get to play a bunch of any of those, but I would like to hope that over the years they got to the point.
EB reminded me, this is all Kota Hishino. That must have been some old notes.
Oh.
Thanks, EB.
But like, I'm really hopeful that this new Armored Core has a bit of speed to it. Like, I'm not saying that the other ones didn't because I don't remember.
Well, I know the second one absolutely did not. That's what I liked about it, though.
Yeah, like I want it to be faster.
You want virtual on?
Maybe I'm not going to
virtual.
But don't get me wrong, I'm not going to complain if it is virtual on in the form of how fast it is. But I just want it to not be like because it's just like it's too slow. I want to feel some momentum. I want to feel like I want to feel the sense of urgency, you know, and urgency comes from pacing, speed. So they give me that, I'm ready.
Yeah, I know you like the speed. You like the speed with the music. You like the speed with the game.
That's right.
You like to feel a little bit of stress.
Yes, but I also like the customization of the mech, so I like the idea of being able to be like, you know, I got these 2 rocket pods on my back, I got this beam sword on my right arm, I got this lollipop in my left hand, and it's just great. Why you got a lollipop? I get hungry in this thing, man. That's why I have the detachable mouth attachment there. Just a pop.
The giant Pernell robot.
That's right. I'm hungry. I'm angry. Just go.
All right, what's your next?
So
is this going to be number 9? Tell me, should I guess when you're going to announce your top overall?
Yes, like how many top ones did I settle on? Like what was the top block? So this will be crap, I am going to have to move something around, but we'll see because I realized a track I really wanted to get on the show isn't on this list, and I'm sad.
Oh, no.
Maybe we'll have an episode ender or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
No,
anyway,
we could, but there's a lot of music to get through.
There really is.
Yeah.
So this track also comes from Too Many Mechs. This was a track that surprised the crap out of me when I realized it was in the game, and I had to pick it for the show, and I still listen to it to get me pumped at work sometimes. This comes from the game Hardcore Mecha, and the track title is called Dash and Strike, composed by Daisuke Kurosawa, featuring Hironobu Kageyama. And again, this was played on episode 33-3, Too Many Mechs, aired 6/22/22.
叫べ天を救うまとえいらずば照らせフューチャー弾け飛ぶ火花爆裂超スピードでサンダーのように駆け抜けろ絆を信じて魂のエフューション光が差す方へ止まることなく叩きつけろ立ち向かえ運命に全ては自分次第明日をつかむぜハードコア 試しに舞い熱くけ高く咲くまとえホームラをヘイスオブレイバー才は投げられた灼熱に吠えろフレームのように駆け上がれ終わりなきバトル魂のレボリューション全てを塗り替えてさあまだチャンスはハートで決めるぜブレイキャンラッシュ振り返らずに畳みかけろ立ち上がれ今こそ剣を握りしめ明日をつかむぜハードコアめき駆け巡るバリアハーツ奇跡を巻き起こせさあ今日も舞い上がれ正体限界を超えてダッシュアンスライ止まることなく叩きつけろ立ち向かえ運命に全ては自分次第もつかむぜハードコ
I love this track so much. This comes from the game Hardcore Mecha, and the track title is called Dash and Strike, composed by Daisuke Kurosawa, featuring Hironobu Kageyama. EB hit us with an extra detail, though, that the lyrics were actually done by the Inspirion sound team. So we got a little bit more going on there. And this comes from episode 33-3, Too Many Mechs, episode airing June 22nd, 2022. So Too Many Mechs was an example of an episode topic where I had very little experience. Like, I could have been like, Xenogears, because I play Xenogears.
Or Mech Extermination Force.
Mech Extermination. But the thing about it is, I didn't want to use that because Mech Extermination Force, you control a gunner. You're just fighting mechs. Yeah. I wanted to stick with using mechs against mechs or something like that. So it was like, okay, I have like a pedigree of like 2 games or 3 games under my belt. I got to go beyond this. So I started digging, researching games I would like to play. And then I remembered Hardcore Mecha was a game I saw on the Switch eShop. And I kept telling myself I wanted it, but I was kicking the can because I was trying to wait for a sale or something. But then for this episode, I was like, let me just go ahead and buy it. So I paid the full price and messed around with it. And this is like the intro song. And I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, I know that voice. That's the dude from Dragon Ball.
I mean, like giant robot fighting stuff. Like, is that something that you're commonly like? That's not something you're usually into, right? Or like,
no, quite the contrary. I do like that stuff, but when it comes to video games, it's very rare I come across a game that does that. Yeah. That also does it in the way that makes me want to play. Like, for example, I liked Virtual On. Virtual On is a very fast, hectic game. In the arcade, it had the twin sticks, but then a lot of the video game versions are like very slow, or you have to like know a bunch of stuff like Super Robot Wars.
What's that? Oh, Super Robot Wars. What's that one that's supposed to be like a simulator where you have like that specialized?
Oh, the $300 controller.
Yeah.
Friggin' hell, Steel Battalion. Which
I
actually remember finding the controller at a pawn shop for $10, and I had it sitting in my bedroom for years, but no game to play with it.
It was
until I eventually sold it for like $250.
Really interesting seeing, BattleTech at PAX Unplugged this year. And BattleTech is a tabletop like war game with giant mecha. And I used to play that in junior high more than 30 years ago, like 32 some years ago.
What's old is new again.
Playing this game with my friend Steve and Phil in our living room on the floor, and like the map was just a piece of paper, and we would we get his dad to scan and photocopy the sheets because the sheets were just like a picture of like a generalized like robot and little dots on it. And so if you could target different like body parts and like knock them off and stuff. And we played that for hours and hours and hours and hours. And so it was just cool seeing like BattleTech is still out there. And you didn't really know what it was?
I did not.
That's
so
amazing.
Keep in mind, back in the day, we came from very different worlds in our youthful years.
We both played a lot of games though, but yeah.
I was pure video games, a lot of times from the bargain bin. And tabletop games did not exist because where I lived, nerds were picked on and had no friends. So I didn't really get access to that kind of stuff. But I did like the stuff. I just didn't have access to it until later years when I was like, wait a minute, you guys do what now? That's a game? Like, think about it. Hero Quest was your childhood, right?
Yeah.
I didn't learn about Hero Quest till we went to Retro World that year.
Oh, really?
That was my first time ever seeing Hero Quest.
See, it was my friends. I think that game was so expensive. Like when I was a kid, I was never gonna have that.
The Milton Bradley game was expensive?
It was huge. Yeah, it was big, or it was more than we were gonna afford at the time. And so it was the same friend who had like BattleTech, and he was always into these big like board games that took up like the whole like living room floor or coffee table or whatever. And that's when he had Hero Quest, and then like.
Hero Quest was
and then
cool.
like his grandfather or like uncle like also bought him Hero Quest, so they ended up with like 2 boxes and we would stick them together.
That sounds amazing.
And one summer like we just played whole campaigns we just made up on the fly. We kept carrying over the same characters.
That would be fun though. Like Hero Quest, for those who don't know, like Matt Burrows had it, and that's how I got to see it.
Yeah, it's D&D light essentially.
You had these plastic tiles that you could stack on top of each other to make a terrain.
Yeah.
So think like Final Fantasy Tactics or something, but you're building the tactics map on your kitchen table, and you have units that have elevation strikes and all this kind of stuff. It was fun. I had a Valkyrie that just killed everybody.
Actually, I don't think that was the Hero Quest we played. It was more like a roll and move.
Huh.
Yeah, with like little
No, sorry. You're talking about Hero Quest. I'm talking about HeroScape.
HeroScape. Oh, yeah, HeroScape. But that was something else.
Hero Quest
that was like
the game
elevations
that was
and stuff.
Yeah,
like
Hero
hexes.
Quest was the game that was at the convention where it's like it's on tabletops flat and you're rolling through dungeons.
That is definitely a like a luxury board game right there. Like very much so.
Which is why he had it as an adult. Before we move on, I want to answer GameFan44's question from way back in the episode. She just generally asked how far was I in Pokemon Scarlet. The answer is I'll get farther after next week. But right now, I have 3 gyms down, and I'm also about to fight the Steel Titan, which I think is Earthworm, which I really want because he'll do a good job complementing my gym.
That's what I'm saying.
Earthquakes, literally.
You got to take down the Steel Gym because you got to own the Steel Gym.
That's right. I think it would be pretty fun if I just walked in there. Mike made a funny side comment. He was like, you should dress like somebody's dad and act like you don't know what Pokemon is. Like, my child told me this is where all the Steel Pokemon people play them. I'm using his game. Can I play with you guys?
Are you playing officially at MAG, or are you just playing for fun at MAG?
I might mess around for fun. I'm not running the gym this year, which I didn't want to do because I didn't want to have to rush through Scarlet and Violet, because typically for MAGFest, the new Pokemon game will come out at the end of November. MAGFest is the very first weekend of January, which means I get a month to play the entire game plus build a viable team, because there are people who will just rip the game apart and then have this super duper built team within a week.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't have time, but I want to not be a lame at the game convention. I want to be good, I want to be ready. So in the end, it was just like, I would make it, and I did it. But the thing that made me the saddest was one year, it was Sun and Moon. At the end of Sun and Moon, when you beat the game, you have to do another quest to unlock what's called a Mega Ring, so you can use Mega Pokemon in the game proper. Mega Pokemon are like the super versions of certain Pokemon.
I would have guessed.
Yes, just saying. Mega.
There's some context clues here.
Just saying.
Mega means bigger. Pokemon
is Pokemon
pocket
some sort of pocket thing.
So like really big pocket monsters.
So I was running Steel
Very
Gym
familiar.
that year, and I didn't have time to even get the Mega Ring.
Yeah.
So my very first day at the show, people were coming at me, mega evolving their Pokemon. I'm like, I can't match that. I was still kicking ass. I'll tell you that. But I couldn't match the Mega, so the wrong Megas would come. I'm like, I gotta beat this guy, but none of my Pokemon are as good as that.
That's my first time like seeing you at like the Pokemon area doing this thing, and I was like, oh wow, you really are here all day long.
But you gotta give me credit though. I got into it. People would sit there, I'm like, oh, what is that? And your face.
Yeah, you gave him a good shot. You were part of the show. I hope that the other gym leaders did the same.
Oh, I hammed it up hardcore for those kids.
I hope they did.
And I loved when kids came up to play, though, because if a kid was playing, he'd be like, that was a really good show. Here, let me give you this Pokemon if you want to trade with me. And like, here's the thing I'd suggest for the future gyms. That guy has a really cool, like, I don't know, like, he's like a Persian, like a freaking Galarian, not Galarian. Yeah, it was a Galarian Persian. Like, just, not a lowland Persian. I'm like, you should use this against him. Here, I'll just give it to you. And the kid's like, thank you, sir. I'm like, yeah, just tell him Pernell sent you.
I love the Pernell kitty voice. Thank you, sir. Can I have another Pokemon?
And Game Fan, I will gladly take that steel Pokemon. I appreciate the offer.
All right, so my next track, I'm gonna pick for my top 3 right now. This is Manual Override from Ridge Racer 64. Keith Aram is the composer. This is from episode 34-8, not too long ago, N64 Jams. And I picked this because I want to do this topic because I discovered that Muppet kart racing game. Was it Muppet? No, it was a Mickey Mouse kart racing game on the N64.
Was Mickey Speedway?
Yeah, with this amazing soundtrack. And we played that at Retro World in Connecticut. I thought it was so good. So this is Ridge Racer 64, Manual Override, Keith Aram. We're back. We're listening to the song Manual Override from the game Ridge Racer 64 from the Nintendo 64. Nintendo 64!
Manual Overdrive!
Composed by Keith Aram. This was in my top 3. I'm not sure where things stack up. Okay, I know what my top 1 is. But my other top 2,
a little dicey.
And the top 3, it's up there. This is 3 or 2. This might be number 3. No, it's number 2. That's number 3. I'd see they just keep bouncing around.
That's what makes this fun. Tomorrow will change.
Number 1 is like indisputable.
Here's
there forever.
Here's the beauty of this kind of thing, though,
singing
right?
it all week.
It's like these kinds of things, these hierarchy ratings, they typically change with the weather, right?
Yeah,
but when you record it for that specific time, it's etched in stone. You can't change it. You can't take it back because on this day, this was in your top 3.
Yes. Actually, I remember when I played this, I was like, this is up there. This is going to be in my top 10 episode. It's so good. Ridge Racer has got some of the best music of any game series out there. I think a lot of people can agree with that. It's just so much fun. It's good dance music. It's good racing music. It's good driving music. It's just fantastic stuff. Thank you very much, Brian. Thank you. We are here. We're kicking the jams today.
It'll be fun.
All right, Pernell, coming down. What's your next track?
See, now I got to match the energy you brought out. I will bring one of my top 3.
I think the rest of my tracks are really low. So, I chose I really channeled Hammock for most of my picks.
Hammock.
Come on.
Hammock. So I'm going to pick one of my top 3 since you just picked one of your top 3.
Okay.
Just to throw us in the cut.
Let's do it.
So this came from episode 31-5, Fly Cry Baby, aired February 9th, 2022. This comes from the game Conception 2, Children of the Seven Stars, and this is the Dungeon Battle 1 theme, and I have no idea who wrote it. I actually do look here and there. I can't find it. EB, help me out. I got a feeling you can find this. Welcome back. You were listening to Dungeon Battle 1 from the game Conception 2, Children of the Seven Stars. I had it on the PlayStation Vita, composed thanks to Brian Mosley. This was composed by Masato Koda, and this was played on episode 31-5, Fly Cry Baby, aired February 9th, 2022. EB says lyrics were by Marie.
we have like the whole community doing work for us in the chat.
Hey, it's appreciated. Trust me.
You all could just chill out and listen to music. You don't have to do any work for us.
No. Thank you for the help. I'm taking the help. So I could, if you were to say, Pernell, what's your deal? Why do you like this track? I don't frickin' know. Okay. It's that science of music that people talk about from time to time. There's certain elements of music that catch certain ears. This hit me in that way, where I'll bop to it in the car when I'm driving fast on the highway, and I don't know what I'm listening to it for. But that's fine. And for a while, I was confused if this was actually what played in the game proper, because it seems like a really odd tune to play in a battle in a game. But no, it actually is the track that plays. I actually booted my own copy up.
And you're like, this is actually what plays, huh?
Yes, I booted up for the first time this year just to confirm this. And yes, this music plays in battles in the game.
It's good. When I said this is a Pernell track, it's the fast-paced guitar with the female vocals. Bonus points if what they're saying doesn't mean anything in English.
I love this. Hold on. So Martyr says it's a group effort, which is appreciated and true. And Huang's90 says, Rob, this kind of research is their winding down.
Yeah, this is you guys hanging out. This is like an easy Sunday for you guys, right?
It's freaking great and appreciated.
Doing all the research for us.
And I do appreciate that. I like the use of barely audible lyrics in the Yakuza games. See, now I got to play more Yakuza games because Mike and I were talking about Yakuza just last night. Over the last few years, Fristle just played through all 6 Yakuza games, the primary 6 anyway. And Now I'm curious about these inaudible lyrics that are in those games that were mentioned.
Like, what are they really saying?
I don't know, but this track is poppy, it's energetic.
It's very poppy.
I don't understand what they're saying, which feels great to me. Which makes singing along fun too, because you start making up stuff.
Oh yeah. This is the one where it's not like, oh, they're singing in Japanese, I'll just make up whatever words I want. But this is like,
they're singing in English.
They're singing
I'm
in
still
English,
gonna make
yeah.
up what they want to say.
All right, so I'm gonna change the speed here. We're gonna move on to my next top track. Not my top 3, but this is from episode 33-9. Your masters of VGM. This is when we asked our listeners what their masters of video game music was. So this is when we were doing that whole thing. I think Bedroth started where people were picking like kind of their top 4 masters of video game music, best composers ever. And I want to say this is EB's. This is Yasunori Watanabe for Arkanoid Returns. The track is called In Open Order. This is In Open Order from the game Arkanoid Returns for the Sony PlayStation, composed by Yak, Y-A-C-K. Also, Yasunori Watanabe. This is on episode 33-9, Your Masters of Video Game Music. And this was, and he confirmed it, Electric Boogaloo's master of video game music, his track pick. Or the pick I picked for him. I think he sent it to me.
This is one of the...
So, and this is the style of like arcade music and like video game music that like it's really specific to me. It sounds arcadey, and I really like it.
See, now I want to mess
Really
around
like
with
it.
this.
Like
I've never
late
played
90s
this.
arcade stuff. Yeah, Arkanoid is just like one of those basic art video games, like you all the way back to Pong.
It's a block breaker, right?
It's a block breaker. Yeah, it's essentially Breakout with a whole bunch of power ups. But then like when they released this on PlayStation, it was like, okay, let's give you like 300 levels. Let's make tons of bosses and enemies.
Is that where the return comes in?
Yeah. But like it was always kind of like that, but they really just kind of amped up and adding in all sorts of cool stuff to it. It's just really, really good.
EB's in the chat, so I wonder if he's willing to answer this question. Like, I wonder, have you played any of the recent Recharged Atari games that have come out in the recent months? Like Yar's Revenge Recharged and all that? And if so, like, do you have a particular favorite? But like, yeah, I do appreciate, even if I don't particularly play them all myself. Funny, because we literally were just talking about Elevator Action Returns earlier in the chat. But like, even if I don't play them all, I appreciate that someone's like, these games don't deserve to be lost in the ether. Like, let's just bring them back out either as a just straight port or as a side of rebranding to kind of give it a little bit more modern energy, Because I'd never played Yar's Revenge. You used to talk about it a lot.
Yeah, Yar's Revenge is one of those 2600 games where as a kid, I mean, I was really young playing that one. I had no clue what was going on. But then when we were, me and my friends in high school were collecting Atari games, where's this coming from?
Heaven. That's where it's coming from.
I started playing music, the last track again. Yeah, like it. What was I talking about? Oh, Yar's Revenge. As a kid, I had no idea what it was. But then when I was collecting Atari games in high school, and I went back to it and I learned how to play the game and what was going on, and it was addictive as anything. It was so cool.
It really is.
And there's nothing like it.
And the new one, they have like missions and stuff, so you can try to just go there and do this quick mission. And
yeah,
like,
you were playing that
it.
on the way up to Connecticut.
Yes.
And I was like, what is going on?
Like, vengeance
I was
is
on
what's
those
going
weird.
on.
I was on those weird back roads in Connecticut or New York.
That was a scary behind drive, by the way.
That was so weird.
Very narrow roads. This truck was just stalking us down for like a good 30 minutes on like these winding roads. Like, why is he doing the same thing we're doing? And he's aggressively following us.
Van is following. Every time I got to an intersection, I'm like, he's gonna turn. He's gonna turn, and he never turned.
Has anybody ever done that thing where you're not sure what's happening, or if you're in a potential danger, so you kind of take your keys and wrap them, like put them in between your knuckles and wrap a band around your hand, like I'm ready to knock this guy out. Just come around to the passenger side. I'll give him 1-4. But then thankfully you never have to. That's pretty much what happened.
Okay.
Oh, it's Yasuhisa.
Yasuhisa. Yeah, I think on the show I kept saying Yasunori because I was like, Yasu.
But you wanted to be Yasunori. It's okay.
All right, Pernell, what's your next one? What's your next track on the list?
All right.
On the top 10 ever made.
I think this will be one that Game Fan 44 is down with because it's a track that I definitely wanted in the show, but I was at that point where I was starting to get to the bottom of my roster. I was like, crap, I got one slot left. It's got to get in here, right? And it did. This track comes from the game Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's called Storming Rose Tower. It's composed by Minako Adachi and Go Ichinose from episode 34-4 Working Games, aired September 28th, 2022. Welcome back. You're listening to Storming Rose Tower from the game Pokemon Sword and Shield, composed by Minako Adachi and Go Ichinose, played on episode 34-4 Working Games, aired September 28, 2022, and Ulf Person is getting down with the track. My man!
Yeah, that's good.
Like,
that piano is excellent.
This is
excellent.
I love this track so much, and the funny thing about it is, like, if you talk to people about Pokemon Sword and Shield, it's almost unanimous. People like the crescendo point, the lead up to like the finale of the game is kind of weak and lacking. And I'm not going to say those people are wrong per se, but what I will say is this track made it completely worth it. And for a while, this was the only place in the game you could hear it play, which is a travesty because it's also the best track in the game as far as I'm concerned. But they eventually patched it so you could play it during the battle mode in the post game and stuff. It's also something funny about the fact that this battle scenario takes place in a sequence where, like, you're trying to go to, like, this company. I don't even remember the name of it. It's probably, like, Rose Corp. Actually, I think it is Rose Corp. To meet the chairman and one of the main character's brothers to have them do a thing for you, like stop something or do something. And in order to get to them, you have to get to the top of the building. So you go to the building, and you go to the elevator to ride it to the top. And it's like a 100-floor building, and every few floors it stops for a fight. A Pokemon battle. And people walk on, and you battle with Pokemon in this giant elevator in an office building. Keep in mind, you've got Pokemon that weigh hundreds of thousands of pounds. You have Mega Pokemon doing heavy slam on the elevator. People lighting flames, flamethrower, mess in an enclosed space, and no one's dying. There's been no structural damage.
Are there like NPCs like walking around like in the office like making copies?
I really wish there were, because that would be extra funny.
So
like
funny.
an office working on the elevator. It's like I was in the middle of filing some reports. And they told me to come beat 5 kids in an elevator. I don't know what to do with myself. But it's just a great track, and the battles are fun in the elevator. They're all doubles, which is a rarity in mainline Pokemon games. But doubles battles are where I prefer in Pokemon matchups too. So it was a good time. and this track is a freaking
It's
bomb.
so good. That's really, really good. All right, my next one is coming from 32-10. This is Stank Face Jams Part 2. Our first Stank Face Jams was with Cameron from the Mad Gear. This one was with our mutual friend Matt Waldron.
God, yeah, he knows some stank face.
Also, yeah, he's got the stank face. He knows how to make a stank face.
That's what he's like.
He was born with a stank face.
That's why I think we actually had a specific moment on the episode where we were comparing stank faces.
Yeah, we were all like, so this is one, I think I picked this one. This is from the game Soul Feast from the Sega CD or Mega CD. This is by Ryota Furuya and Motoi Sakuraba.
This is from what's that over there?
Sometimes if you just say it fast enough, no one's gonna see it. This is the music from Stage 2 from Soul Feast from episode 32-10. So good.
What we're starting to discover is that possibly Motoi Sakuraba could have had a secret hand in the Final Fantasy VIII OST. That would have been a trip if that was the case.
Motoi Sakuraba, is the GOAT. Is a GOAT.
Yes, he is.
One of the, amazing composer. Stage 2 from the game Soul Feast. This is for the Mega CD. Wow, this is some amazing music. And right down to like that little bridge with the drums and the and then it builds back up again. It's such a good song. Such a good song. Like this is the music you want to hear in a space shooter game, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And also,
that speed, that fastness, it's so great.
I am 100% referring to the man with the machine gun. That's the track I'm referring to.
Yeah, the man with the machine gun. Was that what it was?
Yes.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. Like, I don't know what it is about me. Like, if you were to ask me out of this context what that track title was, I would have probably remembered it. But something happens when I'll be hearing a track from something else, something completely unrelated. And the crossover will start to happen in my brain. I'm like, I know that from somewhere. And I start losing other elements of knowledge. I just know I'm focused solely on sounds. So I'm like, and the next thing I'm like, okay, that's the one. That track.
It's not from the drums. This game is all, this music is all synthesizer. So it's not going to be like, oh, I like that part with the flute and that part with the timpani is really solid.
I like the...
Yeah. It's
also, I got to admit...
I like that part that goes...
I'll be blunt, by the way. A lot of people might not like that so much when it comes to comparing music and describing music. I think that's part of one of the most fun elements of describing music is trying to make the actual sound.
Yeah.
The vibrato in your mouth.
Oh man, that's such a good song. Yes. What is coming out? I think we're up to are we halfway through now? Let me take a look here.
I think we are.
1, 2, 3, 4. So this is gonna be your fifth one.
Man, this is getting down to the wire.
Getting down to the wire.
Frizzle says, I just came back and Pernell was making mouth noises. I just knew it. They were talking about man with
so
the
that one might have been my top 3, but I think my next one's going to be my
What, that
my
one was in your
2.
top 3 too?
It's
you already named one. Keep in mind.
I know. It's between
that
one and my next one.
Okay.
The number one, irrefutable.
Because once you declare it, you can't take it back.
I know. It's there forever.
It's there for good.
Yeah.
So this next track is the one I actually had to put back in. I had to remove, and I may regret this later. Maybe we can throw it in as like a bonus at the back end of the episode. I had to remove one track in place of this.
Don't get more tracks.
We're getting
You can't be like, well, here's my top 10 and one one more, if you don't mind.
We're
No,
getting through
it's dead.
pretty
It's gone.
fast.
No,
We're
we
getting-
erase it from existence.
Never. We're getting through so fast. We can slip one more in there. No one's going to cry. This comes from episode 34-6, Inspirations with Nintendo, aired on October 12th,
Some good
2022.
jams on that one.
That's right. Fantastic beats. And this comes from a game that I guarantee no one's playing because I loved it, though. This comes from the game Battle Bands, and this is the track from the Scrapyard stage where you bite on the Scrap Titan, composed by Fat Bard, who consists of Patrick Chryselius and Zach Fendelman. We can talk through the end of it.
Yeah.
So this is from the game Battle Band.
This is not your top 3.
This is
I mean, it's still top 10.
It is definitely in the top 10.
But, wow.
I bop to this track very often.
I was ready to cut through it, and when I start talking, you're like, no.
No. Let it simmer.
No, this is the good part. This is the good part.
This
Yeah.
is the
We gotta
Scrapyard.
dig on this part. I'm grooving.
Just jam.
Yeah.
This is from the Scrapyard stage from the game Battle Bands on PC, composed by Fat Bard, members being Patrick Chryselius and Zach Fendelman. This is a game that I would have never heard of, never played, never even come across, if not for the fact that it came up in review on SML. I was able to give it a try, and the main thing that drew me was the music. Don't get me wrong, the gameplay's pretty cool too. It's a team-based deck builder, team-based versus deck builder, where you are a band playing against other bands, and they're all different themes. Like there's a band where it's like a bunch of 50 sock hop dogs, and a bunch of arcade kids playing chiptune music. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in that game. But this track was by far my standout favorite in the game. I listen to it all the time at work. So I go to their YouTube, I think, at one point and even talked about it on there. It's just a good track. And I would have been remiss to have not included it on this episode, because one of my favorite things about doing the combination of both game reviews and this podcast is the fact that I just get exposure to music that I would never come across otherwise, because I don't have that kind of money to be buying a bunch of random stuff.
Yeah.
But getting access to it because someone's looking for exposure, and the game ends up being good too, and the music is good. It's I gotta bring it up. I gotta give it more love than just...
you get exposed to more music that you normally wouldn't be hearing or looking for in the first place.
Exactly. I would have never found this game.
It's been great for our show. I get to listen to some stuff that I would never be listening to also. Okay, we are going to listen to music from...
I will say this real quick before we move on.
I got to pick it.
Oh,
It's
good
hard.
time. So you got some time then. So like Huang, what was it? I gotta get this pronunciation. Huaziong 90 says, outside of some AAA titles and a few indie games, I'm very out of touch with modern games, and that's the thing. That's the case for most people.
Yeah,
like don't feel like you're actually out of touch. If anything, we live in a world where we have excess game options, and to actually be in touch is borderline impossible.
Yeah.
Like
I'm only in touch with a lot of these like more obscure ones, or just a lot of these ones that might have flown through the cracks because of you, and that's it.
Yeah.
Without that, I would have never even known about half the stuff.
yeah, like you're not going to be in touch with a lot. The best bet you got is just to talk to a lot of different people, whether it's through podcasting, through Discord, through your local network, and just discuss games.
Yeah, they say the only reason I join VGM Discords and listen to podcasts is precisely for that, to hear music I normally wouldn't come across, which is why I originally fell in love with the Legacy Music Hour, the other podcast, the first one that I started listening to before we started the show. When they went on hiatus and we started doing the show, it was like, I've never, like, it was all only 8-bit and 16-bit games that I just never played or never heard of, and I was like, the nostalgia isn't the one that's driving me back to the music, because I don't have the nostalgia for it. It's just like, this is just good music.
Yes.
And it's really fun to hear, like, what's out there that, like, I just either missed or I just didn't know about. It's just such good stuff. All right, so we're going to listen to, here we go. This is from 32-4, our episode, Get Charged Up, which I think was just the topic that you came up with, because it could mean anything.
Yes.
It can mean absolutely anything.
That sounds like a Pernell topic.
This is my only, probably my only bonus round track. It's an officially arranged version from the game Undercover Cops. The track is Sarah Sourdy, stage 2-1. This is from Haya Unit, which is Takushi Hayamuta, arranged by Michiro Oshima.
Don't stop it, because I gotta say, I'm just kind of sad that name was so close to being Sarah Sourdough.
Sarah Sour.
and we were deprived of that glorious name opportunity.
I think EB's excited here. This is Undercover Cops. UC Cops.
That's right. University City Cops.
University City. Oh, man. This is some amazing music. So we're going to listen to the arranged version from stage 2-1, Undercover Cops.
You're bad. Get up. Break it down. Break it down. Get this hiccups. Break it down.
Love that synthy stab chord. Bing, bing. So good. This was Sarah Sourdy, stage 2-1, the arranged version from Undercover Cops. This is by Haya Unit, which is Takushi Hayamuta, arranged by Michiro Oshima. Mentioned in our chat, the Pixelated Audio, another fantastic podcast that you should definitely listen to if you like video game music. They had Hayamuta and interviewed him many years ago. So go and check their archives at Pixelated Audio. Man, that is such a good funk song.
I gotta tell you,
Love it.
I just had an episode for another topic.
You just had an episode?
I just had an idea for another episode topic. We'd have to probably get Hammock or someone else on the show with us, though. So EB's typing of UC cops and me saying University City cops got me thinking it could be pretty funny to have an episode where we pick tracks from games and then similar to that old chestnut of a meme, you change one word in the title of the game to make a completely different game and you sell it. So
I see. Yeah. So it's just it's like that fun. Oh, I've seen like a game it's like a board game that gets advertised to me on Facebook where it's like you find a band and you take out one word and change it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. That's exact meme. And you just like do that, but for video games. Because I go, seriously, I'm having way too much fun imagining University City Cops right now. I don't know why that is, but I want to do an episode like that. It would be ridiculous. And Havoc would be a great companion to have on the show for that.
I'm still trying to figure out which track I'm going to lose.
One must live.
One must fall.
And one must fall.
Right.
One shall rise and one shall fall.
All right, Pernell, what is we're on track number 6. What you got?
All right, so this is actually going to be a track from a game that was actually recommended to me by a friend back in December of last year, which I then added to my 4 in February, which of course means it's going to come from episode 31-9. Our 4 in February aired on March 9th, 2022. This comes from the game Echo Generation, and the track title is called Wolf Rat Battle, composed by Pusher.
really, really curious about what those top ones are going to be. But we are back.
You were just listening to Wolf Rat Battle from the game Echo Generation, composed by Pusher. Echo Generation is a voxel RPG kind of modeled after games like Earthbound or Stranger Things, the show, where you're just a kid living in the 80s. Weird stuff's happening.
I can't say the show. Stranger Things, the things.
The things, all those strange things. But in this sense, you are playing as a kid whose father is missing, and also weird things are happening in your town. So, of course, you just go out and explore and figure out what's happening, and you come across weird events like mutant rats at the junkyard and a possessed killer clown puppet in the junkyard and a alien ship that crashed in the cornfield behind the junkyard. And did I mention there's a junkyard? But that is just a lot of weird stuff that happens in this game, and it's surprisingly enjoyable to play. It makes very little sense.
Okay, it's because it makes no sense. It's still it's still enjoyable, and that's what's surprising about it.
I think that's what makes it fun, is the fact that it makes no sense. Like, these kids are battling like otherworldly monsters. They don't explain anything. It's like why kids can do it. It's just, well, time to just use this axe that you found by reading a comic book which taught you how to throw axes. Why not? That sounds cool.
I like that.
And there's time paradoxes and such that happen in the game, and I think I want to say this was one of those rare cases also where I played the entire game in one day. I just kept going until it was over because I was obsessed with it. And
I can't do that. I right now I'm playing through Tunic, and my stamina, my endurance for sitting on the couch playing a game isn't what it used to be. I start to phase out a little bit. I start to forget things. I start to rush through places where I really don't want to rush through.
I'll give you this as a chestnut. It may not be the case, but it's possible.
You're just getting old.
Well, we're all getting old. No denying that. But I feel like it's the type of game that matters too.
Yeah.
For example, another game I did in one sitting recently was called The Devil in Me. It was a supermassive horror game, one of those horror interactive movie games.
Okay.
And I started out playing it, and I was like, this game is boring. I'm not having fun. So I put it down at chapter 4 out of 20 or whatever. I came back at 2 in the afternoon on a Sunday, just started playing it again, and I didn't put it down till 1 a.m. I was obsessed with seeing the story play out. And I was engrossed. It wasn't too taxing on my mental state. I didn't feel mentally exhausted.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get the rush of what happens at the end.
You weren't pushing through it. The game was kind of carrying you through, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
It's not an endurance race so much as it might get to a point where you're I'm actually legitimately sleepy, but I have to do it. You just want to see the rest.
Yeah.
So narrative games really hit me like that. So imagine if P5 did some mess like that. I guess I'm going to die because this game is 100+ hours
so
and I want to see
You
the
almost
story.
did. I mean, you played 2 days in a row, I think.
I really did. I was obsessed with that game.
All right, so my next track comes from a game that is very short that you can probably finish in about 30 minutes, maybe less than that. This is from I can't believe that
The junkyard.
The first time I heard about this game was when we started the podcast really, really early on. And I played this game when I was at work in Texas. And I was sitting in the hotel room, and I found the soundtrack on, I think it was on Bandcamp, by Flashy Goodness. The game is called Tower of Heaven, and it's an old Flash game, which, of course, Flash isn't around anymore, but I think it's been preserved somewhere. And I just fell in love with the soundtrack, hard. And then it came back again this year, or this past year, on our episode 31-3 In Memoriam, which I think is one of my favorite episodes of the show that we've ever done.
That actually makes me happy to hear too, because that episode means a lot to me.
It meant a lot to me too. If it ever falls off the feed for whatever reason, I'm gonna keep it on there.
Just bump it.
Yeah, I'm gonna bump it up. So this track is called Atop the World. It's towards the end of the game Tower of Heaven. This one's by Flashy Goodness. That was Atop the World from the game Tower of Heaven by Flashy Goodness. We picked that one on our episode 31-3 in memoriam. And this,
It did it again. It did it again. It got you.
the track, what got me?
Oh, you did that intentionally.
I did that intentionally. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. I was trying to just want to play it again because there's different like sections to the song, which is really really nice. And there's a medley that was remixed. Oh, I forget who the remixer was, but it's a medley of most of the music in the game, and it's so fast and it's so emotional. It's so good, so good. Oh, it is saved out there. Good. I'm glad EB knows where it is. And as I know, I played it. That wasn't on Flash, but it was a Flash game.
But now you can play
Really-
it again.
Really short platformer. I really recommend it. It looks like a Game Boy game. It's really, really, really good. It's emotional. It tells its story. It tells what it needs to do, and it kind of gets out of the way. It's incredible music.
I actually just recently bought. I just took a chance on buying like a $10 like retro NES graphic looking like 2D platformer the other day. Worth maybe other people might want to try. Just call it A Castle in the Darkness. It's I'm not even sure how to describe it. Like it's probably like kind of like I don't want to say it.
Is it a
Metroidvania.
Is it a Metroidvania,
Yes.
Pernell? Is it a Metroidvania?
People say it's Metroidvania.
Some would say. Some would say it's a Metroidvania.
God damn it! No. I'm gonna go to the mines. I'm gonna go to the genre mines.
It's an exploration platformer in
That-
2D style.
there
where
we
you
go.
Collect an item to unlock another area.
There's no unlocking. There's no
There's
unlocking.
got to be like a better name for it. Well, it's like Metroid.
Exploration platformer, adventure platformer. I like to say.
It's Metroidmania.
I would actually love saying that.
All right. Here we go. Pernell, we are down. We're getting down to, I think, your last 4.
All right, so this is where it gets a little. Oh man, my heart's starting to palpitate. But here's a track I am going to pick that I'm not going to lie. You know what? For the sake of, I'm going to save this one till the next because I feel like this belongs as close to the top 3 as possible.
Okay.
So I'm going to pick this track instead. This comes from episode 35-1, Hard as Nails, with Chris Baines.
Pretty recent.
Aired on November 16th, 2022. This track comes from the game Circa Infinity and is titled Ring by Jack and Jim Fay. Yes. Welcome back. You're listening to do 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 bram Circa Infinity, track titled Ringed.
Was that you going through your list trying to figure out where it was?
No, that was the build-up, Rob, the build-up. Composed by Jack and Jim Fay, played on episode 35-1. Hard as Nails with Chris Baines, aired November 16th, 2022.
Seeing gameplay, like the higher levels of gameplay of this game gives me a panic attack.
Which means it's doing its job.
It's insane.
Because this game hurts my brain. Like, you play those games where you have to start coming up with like ways to compensate for the fact that your eyes can't keep up with what you're doing, or you're thinking really hard and it's starting to hurt your brain. Yeah. So you start to kind of squint one eye and make your other eye roll up to the top of your eyelid, and you're like, okay, if I can just not blink for a minute, I don't miss anything, and I can get through this crap. I died trying to not blink again, and it's just Circa Infinity is a game that everyone should play. Even if you come away not liking it, if you like puzzlers, like action puzzlers, you need to play this game. It's so weird. Yeah,
it's its own thing. It's so original and original looking. Like the look of it's very, very unique as well. And it's of course like this kind of like synth wavy, kind of like heavy style synth wavy music really fits along with it, which is cool. I would imagine like some faster stuff like later and later stages, but
actually it gets some levels it just gets softer. Like
softer.
I feel like there might be like a love story at the center of this somewhere, because
that's cool.
Eventually there's a point where like you play as the guy, next stage you play as a woman, and in the third stage you play as both simultaneously on opposite ends of the sphere, and you're just like, that's okay, cool. My head hurts. My head really hurts.
I didn't realize that could have been like kind of like the story like within the game. Okay, so my next track is from episode 30-10, Gift Giving. This is where we gifted songs to each other, or maybe our listeners gifted songs. I can't remember. We're not gonna listen. This is a long track. This is from Bust a Groove 2.
Oh, Sutomu!
Sutomu!
Yes, Martyrs chose this track.
I
remember being like, bonding!
Yeah, and hearing this song again, like really, like this hit the nostalgia button super hard, and so it has to be in my top 10.
Yes.
This has got to be happy. The theme of Sutomu from
Busta
Group 2.
I'm already singing it in my head.
Yukihiro Fukutomi with vocals by Momoko Suzuki.
All right, first of all, before we even get back to naming the track, I gotta state this. So Mike goes, broccoli what? So fun fact about me and pizza, right? So what? Originally,
broccoli belongs on a pizza.
Well, but the thing is, I get why he's saying it. He's like broccoli.
Yeah,
I think he's saying it more akin to like I would ask for vegetables on a pizza, let alone broccoli. So originally, I was meats on top of meats all day. You couldn't pay me to put a vegetable on a pizza. And then one day, Rob and Christy were like, we're vegetarians now, which meant I had to adapt and learn what kinds of pizzas I could like that didn't include meat. So I started discovering pizza toppings that I otherwise would have never tried, including ones you can't even get at most stores, like corn. Corn and lima beans on a pizza. You're dang right I do it.
Yeah, that's not something you see very frequently at all. No,
yeah,
no.
But when you can, But my general go-tos are pretty much broccoli, spinach, and black olives for like vegetable toppings.
I think one of my favorites, absolute favorites, is even if there's no cheese, but like usually I like a little bit of cheese, like some mozzarella, but like arugula and red onions on top of it. It's just that flavor combination for me hits it so good.
But as Rob can vouch for, though, if you give me free reign, I'm straight up Ninja Turtles. I'll get some ridiculous stuff on a pizza.
You start looking at like their list of toppings, and there's like a second page, and it's like this is no one picks from here. And I was like, I'll pick from here.
Yeah. Give me that hoisin pork, some freaking peanuts, some carrots, pineapple, mandarin oranges.
Yeah, this is from Busted Groove 2, the game that you said got me, probably is the first game that got you importing games for your PlayStation.
Yes, because it was my first anime con. Like, I went to, it was NecoCon R, which was held at Virginia Beach in 1999. And when I went there, someone had brought Busted Groove 2, which at the time I didn't even know existed. I didn't know the game had a sequel. And let alone it was a sequel that only existed in Japan at the time.
Yeah.
And there was a tournament, and I entered the tournament. I made a bunch of friends to this thing, too. We became a club of friends together because during the tournament, I picked Kelly because she was a cop in this game for some reason. I was playing against some other people, one of them being a character named McLeod. He was like the easy mode character you could unlock, where all of his button patterns was just a single button, and he hit me with both of his attacks, and I fell behind by a ton of points. And I started coming back. It was like my score was just shooting up after the guy. And at the last measure, I lost because I needed one more measure to make up the difference. I lost by 10 points.
That game was tough because, like, the second, I don't know if it was on the first game they did this, but on the second game, if you hit the button press on the beat, they would do the move and you get the points. But if you hit it like closer to the beat, it would like flash and you got extra points.
Extra points.
Did they do that in the first one?
Yes.
Okay, because that
no. Forget about it. I don't think they did in the first one.
Because that was the only way you could get extra points in the second game. And so I was obsessed with trying to get a perfect run on that game, every single stage, right through to the bonus stage at the end, which I thought was so fast. And listening back on it now, that the Panda Man or Pander stage,
yeah,
it's not that fast. It's just really good.
Yeah, and it's funny things like two things real quick because we came up with
yes,
the chat.
I was going to say the name changed because it was called Bust a Move in Japan, or in the East, Bust a Move.
Japan, yeah.
But they had named Puzzle Bobble out here Bust a Move, so they had to change it to Busted Groove.
Yeah, but for me, this is one of those nomenclature scenarios where, like, due to when you were exposed to the game first, that's what you adopt. So even though Bust a Move is the Eastern title, and even seeing the case, I saw Bust a Move 2, it will always be Bust a Groove for me.
Yeah,
that's how I was exposed to it.
I love Bust a Groove. The name of the track is called Got to Be Happy.
Yes.
Theme of Tsutomu.
One of my favorite tracks
one of my favorite ones.
But then the second question, we got an inquiry about our ages.
We don't have to answer that.
Hey, I'm not ashamed. I am not ashamed. If anything, it helps.
How old were we in 1999?
At the time of that convention that this happened, I was 19 years old.
Yeah, same.
So we got 10 years. We got 10 years on you. But guess what? Once you get past like 22 or 23, none of that crap matters anymore.
Yeah,
we're all in the same bubble of adulthood frustration.
I went to Otakon in 97. And then I went 98, and I DJ'd 98. And then in Otakon 99, I DJ'd then. And then 2000, I think, was the last year I DJ'd at Otakon. And then I didn't go much after that. But, yeah, That was fun. The raves were always a really good time at those things because they had nothing to do with anime or anything like that. It was like, I play dance music. Okay, here we go. Like,
and now anime concepts have borderline and nothing to do with anime.
also, this was well before like CDs and MP3s were ubiquitous. So I had like a bag in a box full of records. I was walking around the con floor with. It was so heavy.
I have genuinely fond memories of my time attending anime cons. And
the early ones for me. The early ones.
Yeah, it's mainly the early ones. Like before there was like access to streamable anime, and back before anime was getting like localized en masse, because now everything gets localized to the point where like it's simulcast with when it airs overseas.
Yeah.
But back then you were like contacting Pandora's Cube and sending them VHS tapes so they could dub them for you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Big Byron, the guy who got locked up for like piracy. He had like freaking like regional piracy claims pulled against him. But yeah, anime was a completely different can of worms back then. I would go to conventions and come home with like 20 DVDs, like bags of discs.
Arms of like VHS tapes that were all like copied over stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember going one year thinking like, oh wow, there's like these someones are selling anime soundtracks on vinyl.
And then they were like bootlegs.
Yeah, and so I go to like kind of separate the discs in the box, and they were laser discs, and it was so heavy. It was way heavier than I expected because laser discs are just enormous CDs, and I was like, ah.
That's right.
CD being the compact version of a laser disc.
Chris had to bring it up, so we gotta say Anime Central. I wish you made it to one of those at least,
me?
man.
Yeah.
Anime Central
it's different from what it was, right?
Oh yeah, but the thing about it is like we were going for the social groups. Like we had a community there, so we would show up. Chris, myself, and like 3 of our others, we had a panel that we were doing like every year for a good 3 or 5 years called Turn-Based Critics for like Japanese RPG games. And our best year, we had a room of like 200 plus people just hanging out, hearing us talk about RPGs. And we would just kind of hold the room over from like 1 in the morning till like 4. We would play a lot of dance games and music games. There was always my fun memory of like entering a Super Smash Brothers tournament, and once everybody in the tournament realized that I was a noob guy at the game, they all ganged up on me to eliminate me before they had the actual battle. Lots of dance games, playing Puzzle Bobble. It's funny that came up here.
Yeah,
I had a friend and I used to get aggressively competitive at Puzzle Bobble.
Yeah, as a Katsucon was the one I used to really love to go to for the games, because the game room was like kind of like bring your own system.
Oh,
have your own tournaments.
Have a good night off, person.
Oh yes, good night, Ulf. It was good seeing you in the chat. Thanks for listening to us for a short amount of time. We appreciate it. EB says he was watching clips of Serial Experiments Lane on a PBS station. Wow, that's amazing.
It took 2 years to convince the distributor to air it on TV.
Yeah, I think it was 98 or 99 that I went. I think it might have been.
Wasn't that one of your favorite shows back?
It was one of the first ones that got me into it. Yeah, I can't get into it now. It's very David Lynch, and I'm like, it's kind of slow, and I need a little bit more. But like, it really got me into anime, and I went to one of them because the animator, what was his name, Abe. Yoshinori Abe or Yoshitoshi Abe.
That name rings a bell. Yeah,
he was there, and I was like, I'm going to meet him. And so the night before, we were up partying, and so I got like 2 hours of sleep, and I ran down. I still have like I got an art book, and I got like a special like mixed music, like visual presentation CD that they were handing out just for the con. I was really excited to get it. So that was really, really cool.
Thank you, Curly Kevin. Curly Kevin's a good guy.
Yeah, thank you very much. All right, so
one last thing. I'm sorry. You're like, God damn it, Pernell. While we're on the topic of anime, I want to ask both the listeners and you.
Yes.
Favorite anime, top 2 that you can think of all time?
Well, I know Bebop. I like Cowboy Bebop very much. And, of course, it's got to be Gatekeepers now. It's got to be...
It's a tough decision.
Paprika.
Oh, okay, I remember. Yeah, you were a big fan of that.
Yeah, I can't think of a big series that I'm really into. You know, I think Cowboy Bebop's probably the biggest series that I remember like really enjoying. But yeah, I think Paprika is probably my favorite all-time like anime movie.
I can dig it. Yeah, it's a hard question to be honest.
And then actually, no, I'm sure it's going to be Studio Ghibli joint.
Studio Ghibli joint.
Yeah, Spirited Away. I think might be Spirited Away. I can watch that. I can watch that anytime and enjoy it.
That was the movie with the little girl, right?
Yeah, the little girl.
No face and all that.
Yeah, she gets caught in like the world of the gods going to a bathhouse. It's so good. It's so good.
I did like that movie a lot. But yeah, Trigun was a fantastic anime. I'm genuinely torn, but deep down, it's always going to be Ranma 1/2 as my all-time favorite, followed by potentially Trigun, but XL Saga when I just want to be stupid.
Yeah.
That show made no sense.
I really enjoyed that back in the day.
Yes. Like, I state that show acknowledging that the show makes little to no sense.
Is that the one where they had the dog that was emergency food?
Yes, Menchie.
Emergency food Menchie.
Yes.
That was so cute.
It was so ridiculous. The dating sim episode was my favorite one.
I remember that. Wow, I want to watch that again to see if I'll connect with it like I used to.
You might.
I hope so. I'm probably not, but you know.
It depends. Sometimes it becomes a matter of like, as we get older, you know, we become different people for the most part. But sometimes it's just a matter of saying, just let it go for a little while and just kind of smile like, this is dumb. I know it's dumb. As long as it's not like hateful stuff or whatever. It's just a little more youthful ridiculousness.
Yeah.
It's like I can come back to this.
I just don't know if I can, if I'm going to, even if it's like really silly, really slapsticky, I don't know if I'll connect with it again. It's just, it's I got to be in the right frame of mind maybe. When I was younger, I was like, yeah, give it all to me. I want the stupid idiocy. I want like the non sequitur. I want it all dumb.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. We're moving on. Hamtaro, Kristen. Yes. I used to have a little Hamtaro little plushie I kept in my car all the time. Actually, I think I found it in the house somewhere. No, it's at work now.
Also, if you like Hamtaro, you are a game fan, there is a game. It's not Hamtaro the game, so let's get that out of the way, but it's Cute Hamster. Look up a game called like Pom Pom Mission to Space. It's about a cute hamster. It's a platformer, but you grab objects to place them in the places so that the hamster can jump on them and get around obstacles and stuff. It's adorable.
Kind of puzzly.
Yeah.
I like that.
Adorable.
All right, so we're moving on. This is track number 8. Pernell, it's up to you. You realize it's up to you.
Get into the groove. Okay, this is a track that deep down I kind of think should have been in my top 3, but it's not the last stage theme for the game, which definitely would have been in my top 3. But this is a track we play on the show, so I'm going with it. This comes from the game Guardians Denjin Makai 2. This is the 5th stage from that game, composed by, let me pick this up because holy crap, Katsubari Shigotsu Gotsei. God crap, this name is weird. Katsubari Shigotose. And this was on also episode 31-5, Fly Cry Baby.
Oh.
Aired on February 9th, 2022.
2 from the same episode. That's interesting.
Yes. And yes, that's the game, Pom Pom the Great Space Rescue. Welcome back. You're listening to Stage 5 from the game Guardians Denjin Makai 2, composed by Katsubarishi Gotsei. Yo! Done! Not to say it again until I pick Stage 6 on a future episode. God help us all.
Is this a beat 'em up or a shooter?
It's a 2D side-scrolling beat 'em up. And it is fantastic. Francis had the original cart from the arcade release. He had it installed on his candy cab during one of my visits. He's like, you gotta check this game out, Pern. You gotta check this game out. And I'd never heard of it in my life. So as you can probably guess, I wasn't particularly jazzed about it because if I don't have the initial impact, I'm just like, okay, let's just play the game. It'll be fun to play this game with my friend. And oh my God, it was It was lit. This game is fantastic.
You don't use that word very often either. You know, you're like lit, yeah.
Yeah, it was. This one was fire. Like
It
we
was
were having.
light.
There was like a level where it's kind of like Gulliver's Travels, where you're walking this little mini. Don't you God? I actually did say that accidentally while like out and about not too long ago. I was like, crap. If Rob was here, he'd be giving me the business. What's popping over there? Oh, damn it. But yeah, this track is really, really good. Yeah. I'm a major fan of it. I'm a fan of the whole OST and the game as a whole. It's just, I used the character who has wings and claws and then picked up a submachine gun and just like sprayed the room. It's so good.
The artwork on this game is really cool.
It's very fast paced and frantic too. Like
it looks really quick. I like that. Have you ever played Alien vs Predator?
I have not, but I've heard of it. It's one of the games I feel like I tell myself I need to sit down and actually play with somebody.
Yeah, it's pretty quick, which I like a lot. I think Punisher might be the same way. Like I think they're both Capcom beat 'em ups, but like there's a lot of moves that you can do right off the bat just by using joystick combinations.
You should try typing this if you can, because he's like put the name of the composer. He wants to try to pronounce it.
Yeah, I can't even read. No.
That's like perfect cursive, man. That's quality cursive.
We'll find it later. We'll fix that one in post.
He's going to put the composer's name in the show later because he was trying to read my handwriting. He's like, good Lord.
We'll get there. Yeah.
There it is. Ketsu Barishi Gotose Yo.
So it's got to be like a bunch of people, like all their names put together.
I love how I'm getting the pronunciation. Now just type there. Ketsu Barishi Gotose Yo.
All right.
Boom.
All right. I'm playing. Okay. My next track before we get down to my top two. This is going to be, oh my God, what's it going to be?
I never heard of this track. What is this? Oh my God.
That's it. I'm getting rid of this one.
One fell.
Here it is. It's gone. This is it from the 300th episode spectacular, which I think was one of the first episodes of the year, of the podcast year. This is 30-8 Butterfly Kiss from Persona 5.
Butterfly. I'll know it when I hear it.
Shoji Meguro. You would only know if I probably told you the dungeon or the.
No, I'll know it if I hear it. I bet. I'm taking a shot in the dark. I just don't remember the track by the title.
Oh no, it's the Doctor's music.
Oh
yeah. So here we go. This is Butterfly Kiss from Persona 5. Shoji Meguro. Back. You're listening to Butterfly Kiss from Persona 5. This is the music from the, I guess, the doctor. Is she a doctor? I don't know if she's licensed. She's not licensed, is she?
Rebecca. No, I don't think. I feel like she is, but there's like a narrative arc where like one of the people, some guy comes in there and tries to like threaten her with like a lawsuit.
Yeah, that she killed their daughter, but because she tried some experimental drug, and then then throughout the game, I'm like, yeah, of course, she's experimenting on the main character the whole time.
Mm-hmm. But she ultimately has a heart of gold.
Yeah, she does. She does. So, did you romance her?
Absolutely,
you did.
But she wasn't my final romance. I'll admit, at the end of the day, I'm a typical weirdo in this case. I romanced the teacher, and I made Makoto like my top best friend because I didn't want to have like the two-timing effect in the game.
I had zero romance in this game.
Zero. No, but not even Makoto.
No,
Makoto was awesome.
Makoto I never got anywhere with because I didn't realize that you had to like seek her out.
Oh yeah, she was always studying.
She was always studying, so I never saw her. And I saw the teacher until it got weird, and so I stopped seeing the teacher.
The thing about the teacher, what I liked about her, as odd as it may sound, because I'm pretty sure not many other people had the same vibe, is that she was like
too real. I'm like, no.
It really was too real. She was like this downtrodden, like work is beating her down.
Yeah.
She has no money. And she's like, this is the kind of job she's got to do. So I was like, yeah, you can come over and hang out and get you off your normal shift. We can just hang out in the apartment. No big deal. And then one day I was like, she's awesome. Let's do this. I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, she was great. I think her arc I liked the most because she had to work so many jobs, and she was also being blackmailed for her second job as a sex worker.
She wasn't even a sex worker. She was literally just like a random. Well, I get your point. It was Persona 5.
Come on, Pernell.
I don't know. I thought she was just like a freaking maid service character. I don't freaking know. The point is, she's an awesome character. And I liked her. She was cool beans.
It was good. She was a good character. I liked that her bond with the student, I felt like should have stayed pure. It should have stayed like we're both dealing with a lot of stress at the same time. It shouldn't have gone anywhere else. So I'm judging you.
I'm fine with that. That's judgment I'll accept. And funny enough, we got another inquiry in the chat about another game with a similar scenario. Pernell, I'm assuming if you've played Trails of Cold Steel, you romance Sarah Valstein. If Chris Murray was in this chat, he'd be like, all ears. But he already knows. It was all about Laura in that game for me. Laura was awesome. She was prim, proper, but when it came down to business, she pulled this giant cleaver out. I was like, wow. So you could DLC costumes for all the characters. A lot of games, people are just like, oh, cool swimsuit outfits. Me, I'm like, no. She's got this really cool evening gown, and she's just wielding this giant blade. It's just something awesome about that.
Makoto is very similar, and I think that's why I liked Makoto is one of my favorite characters in the game, was because she was really concerned about school. She was really concerned about her appearance, mainly because of her sister, the detective. But when she was in the other world, she was in leather, and her persona was a motorcycle. Also, I'm like this, in her mind, she is a badass, and I really like that.
And flat out, of all the characters, her transformation, her revelation sequence was my favorite in the entire game.
She was up there one of my favorite characters.
Of all the people, you think you're going to do something, you're nothing. Get the hell out of here.
Her and Ryuji, because for me, the main character, Joker and Ryuji's friendship was the most real relationship in that game.
Except for one part, which bugs the crap out of me.
What was that?
It stuck with me. So, this is a spoiler-ish thing. But there's a point.
Because maybe I didn't see it.
There's a point in the game where, without saying how or why, the team is in a lot of trouble. They're about to die because they need to access a thing that's pretty far away. And Ryuji is a track star.
Yeah.
But he retired because he hurt his leg. So in this instance, he's like, I'm going to sacrifice my life to save my friends. So he makes a mad dash across a sinking boat to grab a thing so they can escape. And everyone thinks he's dead because they get ejected and he's not there. So when he shows up and he's actually alive, they treat him like garbage. And your main character doesn't even get a chance to say, no, chill out, man. He did a thing.
Okay, the main character doesn't say a lot. He's right. He doesn't have anything he says.
But they a lot of times
he's always ... And
they give you the opportunity a lot of cases to give him a dialogue, but you don't even get the opportunity to say, leave him alone. He saved our lives. It's they treat him like hot trash.
I probably brush that off as they're friends, and so they kind of rag on each other anyway.
Yeah. And I thought that's what it was a typical Japanese anime humor sequence, and I get that. But I was nah, Ryuji's the OG. He's all right with me.
Anyway, this is up there. This would have been my top 3, but I wasn't super sure about having Persona 5 up there again. So Pernell, we're into our last two. This is our top two.
Top two.
Top two. Are these ranked? These are your top two now.
These are my top two.
I'm really excited.
And honestly, before last night, they would have been reversed. But after yesterday, there can only be number one. So this will be my number two for the year. This comes from the game, or as the episode 31-9, R4 in February. So a second one from that episode.
Oh, wow.
Aired March 9th, 2022. The game title is called Virgo versus the Zodiac, and the track title is called Room 707, composed by Electro Bear. And go Team Laura! She is best girl. Welcome back. You're listening to Room 707 from the game Virgo versus the Zodiac, composed by Electro Bear and played on episode 31-9, hour 4 in February, aired March 9th, 2022. So I was surprised when, so for those who don't know, Spotify does a thing every year called Spotify Wrapped, where it just kind of does like a compilation of your favorite, most played tracks throughout the course of the year. Well, that picked up and became very popular, so much so that now other music services are starting to do the same thing with their platforms to get people more engaged in them with them as well. And YouTube decided to start doing that this year, or if they've done it prior to this, news to me. But I got my notification, checked it out, and it was like, of all your tracks you listen to this year, Electro Bear birthday surprise, no game. This
Alexa, I didn't even see that in our chat. Electro Bear birthday surprise.
Actually, that probably would be better than Fatty Bear because it'll be a party. Yeah. But this track ended up being my most played track on YouTube throughout 2022. And it probably stands to the reason that it's because I would play it at office time at work, speaker volume up, sometimes with the door open so people could hear it in the halls. And it just sets a nice vibe and mood for the room.
It's a good vibe. This is a really, really good vibe. Yeah, I'm just like, It's his birthday. I'm just really surprised. Like, that
is true. It is
it's something
his
a little
birthday.
more mellowed out, a little more mellow style.
And just to say it and get it on the show proper, happy birthday, Frisso.
Oh, it is his birthday.
It was yesterday, but we got to give it to him.
No, it doesn't
It's his
count.
birthday weekend. It's birthday weekend.
Checks in the mail. All right.
Hugs in the mail.
Hugs in the mail. We can do that now.
But yeah, I love this track.
This is very, very good.
I'm wondering how I'm going to feel when my final track plays, which one should have been the first and which one should have been the second.
Yeah,
but they definitely contained their block.
So this was number one, kind of bouncing around up there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man! All right, so here we go. My number two. I believe it's a track you played on the show.
Ooh.
This is from the game Paradise Killer.
Hey, that was in my short list. Which track though?
This is from 33-4 Hot Patreon Summer.
8th Street Rose.
8th Street Rose.
It was on my list.
It was on your list.
It was on my list.
This is by Airy Epoch Topping. This whole soundtrack is amazing, but this track is it's every 90s sitcom cop procedural mashup. It's what I want in a song. It's
in one glorious place.
So good. It's up there. It fits alongside for me Butterfly Kiss in that kind of vibe. So, but this one nails the nostalgia for me. So this is from the game Paradise Killer, 8th Street Rose.
podcast is over, but it's just the game all the way.
Oh, that was 8th Street Rose from the game Paradise Killer by Barry Epoch Topping. Wow, it's such a jam. It's such a jam.
It's interesting. Fristle says he still needs to finish the game, and I'm curious about that because one thing I do know about this game is in my forever backlog, but one thing I know about the game is that it is a detective game, but you can end the case whenever you want, and they don't penalize you for it. It's a weird concept, but I'm curious about seeing it in execution.
Kind of just like discovering what it is, doing all of the detective work, and then come to your own conclusion. It's a great idea.
It really is. But it makes you wonder, like, would you find yourself playing it and like being like, okay, I could stop now, but I'm not satisfied. There's got to be more. Like, or do you just go, nope, game's over for me?
I don't know.
He did it.
Yeah, I mean, like, you'd have to be really sure. I'm usually like,
Smingers did it.
Like you get way too hard on your first instinct, right? Like, it's got to be this one.
It's got to be that guy. He was clearly there at the proposed time. But he had a blade in his closet.
But I know that this soundtrack is one of Hammock's, like, host of KVGM. I almost said that. KVGM, The Last Wave. It's one of his favorite soundtracks.
And for good reason.
And he plays a lot of this music on his show. KVGM, The Last Wave, a fantastic podcast. One of my favorites. I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to his.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good OS. I like his style. I like his music style, which is funny because it kind of conflicts with mine. But maybe that's why I like it, because I may not typically go out and farm for those type of tracks, but I love that.
You're still into it. So it's probably you're not exploring it.
Yes.
But like it still gets in you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a groove. This track is such a groove. It's that nostalgia hit that Butterfly Kiss from Persona 5 doesn't have. The track from Persona 5, all the tracks from Persona 5 are super clean. They're so well produced. They're rounded. They're the bass and the drums and the guitar. It's just really well crafted music. And this is like, let's just make it sound like it's from the 90s.
If you had to name your favorite Persona 5 track, do you think you could?
Yes. I can't remember the name of it. It is the theme of the Egyptian style stage.
Oh, when your mother was, where your mother was.
Yeah. The little girl
Futaba.
Stage. Futaba stage. Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't remember the name. I bet Martyrs probably does, but it was something like where your mother came from or something like that.
Yeah. So it's the name of the track is that. Yeah. So it's either Futaba stage or it was that last one.
I think my favorite track in the game, as weird as it may come across, is Price. The track that plays at the bank.
Coffee shop music.
Coffee shop, yeah. Good music.
Oh my god, the coffee shop music. What's it called again? It's called
that one. I don't know.
Yeah, the coffee shop music.
The coffee shop music.
It's the coffee shop music.
But
no, that's it. That's the number one. That's it. That's the number one.
But for me, the bank track called Price is, God, that track plays.
Yes, the bank track. Yeah, that was really good. I really enjoyed that one. I think my least favorite was probably On the Ship. I don't think I like that one.
Oh, I loved Arc.
On the Arc.
I loved Arc. I can understand disliking it, though, primarily because it's like freaking Stockholm Syndrome. I spent an entire night doing that dungeon. I couldn't stop. I thought that was the end of the game. I was like, I gotta get to the end.
Yeah, it keeps going.
The sun came up. I got to that dungeon at 10 p.m. and the sun came up before I was done.
That's a lot. I mean, the end of that game is lengthy.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I kept thinking it was going to be over all of a sudden, and it just wasn't. But yeah, I think the coffee shop music is the best.
And there it is. Martyrs came through. It was track titled "Days When My Mother Was There."
Yeah, that's a great song. That's probably number 2 then. Wow. All right, here we go. We are finally. I'm not turning this track down for the bonus round. Oh no.
This is just the final track.
This is it. This is the final track.
So we could do honorable mention.
We could do an honorable mention. I wouldn't mind doing an honorable mention.
Okay.
But we got to know number 1. What is number 1 in Pernell's mind from the last year, anyway?
All right.
That we played on the show.
Okay. This is going to seem, like I said, I'm torn on how this is going to play out between the 1 and the 2. But this is from also the Too Many Mechs episode, 33-3, aired June 22nd, 2022. This comes from the game Metal Wolf Chaos, and the track title is called Metal Fighter, composed by Kota Hoshino.
I was wondering when we were going to hear him again, and I kind of forgot about it.
Yeah, I let that simmer for a bit.
Yeah, okay. I'm excited again. Here we go.
So good.
That's a good. That was the number one.
Yeah,
If
so
that
you
wasn't-
definitely think this was the one
That was the. Oh yeah.
it has the right place on the list.
of the story arc of the episode.
The hero's journey.
I mean, I get why you liked that last one very much. I mean, that totally makes sense to me. Room 707. I got it. That makes sense. But to be in the top 3 is unusual.
Yes.
Yeah, because you probably heard it so much. I understand you got to put it in there.
It has a place. It has a place.
Yeah.
But this track, oh my God. Now, it was already in the top 3, but then I had to run a bunch of errands yesterday before eventually going to hang out with Francis and then drive home. I'm not exaggerating, and this is going to sound really weird, but this is me we're talking about, so everything's weird. I bopped this track for maybe 3/4 of the trip, both ways. This track would just loop, and I was fine with it because I liked the sound while I was propelling up the highway. I was like, you know what? I can't not move it up. The fact that I can listen to this ad nauseum over and over again, that's one perk. Like, people say this again, I always thought, it'd be nice if I had like a driving companion and stuff like that. One perk to not having that, aside from like having to, deal with another person if you're stuck in traffic.
Oh, you can listen to whatever you want.
Listen whatever you want, as much as you want. Yeah. No one's to say, are you listening to this stupid track again? Like, yeah, I am. Nobody's going to tell me no. It's so good.
Yes, Mike, the room does need some posters. Actually, I need to decorate this room. I never really decorated it. What I've discovered, behind me is my turntable set up. You can see my records on the screen. Is we painted this wall a light green, which is, I never realized that. If I get the right lighting in here, it's a green screen. Oh. So when I stream my DJ sets, I'm going to do like some kind of fun green screen thing.
He's at the beach.
So I'm at a parking garage. I don't know what's a parking garage.
I am in the parking garage. Oh, I'm in the grocery store.
But this room does need something. And I feel like I keep wavering on what to add to the room,
Well, think of some stuff, like game-related stuff, like games that mean a lot to you, and then get images of, like, components. Like, an easy one would be, like, some sort of portrait related to dance arrows. Or, having, some arrows, like, just scrolling up the wall.
I was originally thinking of, like, my old joysticks and old game systems and, like, mounting them to the wall. But, like, that would stick out too much, and there's only so much room down here, but...
He's DJing in the basement.
That's the basement. Or use the vinyl cover. I could use the vinyl covers, but I like my vinyl covers, so I'm not gonna. And I play those records anyway. Okay, what's this? Metal Storm Chaos?
Metal Wolf Chaos.
Metal Wolf Chaos. You play as the president.
Yes, the president of the United States, doing battle against the vice president of the United States. And I love it so much because, like, he's extremely patriotic. He's like, I'm doing this for the greatest nation in the world, the United States of America.
So the game soundtrack is titled "The President's Spirit."
It's so good.
It's so good.
This is one of those games where, like, I heard a lot of stories about it when it came out. Like, it was pretty much developed with America in mind, in fact. But I never got around to playing it because it was a Japanese import-only. Max, our friend Max was a big fan of it back in the day. He was the person who told me about its existence. And then it got an updated port to the Xbox One, like in like 2019 or 2020. And actually, I'm probably wrong. Could have been between 2019 and 2021. I'm leaving it there. And a review code came through, so I was able to try. I could finally check that box. I could experience Mecha President. And it absolutely rings true. Like, it's got some performance-y things. Like, it's not perfect, but you know what you're getting coming in. And as long as you know that and you accept that, you're in for a ride. Just tearing through the streets while, like, your secretary's, like, telling you about how much damage you're racking up. And she's, like, giving you, like, these random, like very straight-voiced pep talks and statements and speeches. I'm doing it for freedom. So good.
So this next game, my number one track, I've also can listen to over and over again. It's not
actually this would be perfect.
It's not
Mike's suggestion was good.
Mike's suggestion.
Given how much you like that game.
Oh, the world map of Final Fantasy X, Spira. Yeah, on the wall would be really
like
good.
Like a portrait of Spira in back
That's not a bad idea. I think I should try that. Something similar to that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm wavering because I don't want to ruin the room. I don't want, and I also don't. There's so much in here. I don't want to make it feel more closed in.
Well, you can always.
Or I don't want it to feel like there's a geeky man that lives down here. I don't want it like that either.
Well, that's the trick. When it comes to video game art, it just needs to be things that if someone were to look at it, if they weren't in the know, it would just be a map.
Yeah, it would just be something. Yeah, I want it to look intentional. Intentional is what I want them to. I don't even like those. I need those little shelving, like Tupperware tubs. Shelving things because I have so many cables, but I hate the way they look. All right, so this game I played music from this game, the only song from this game, on episode 32-8, the Pernell Multiverse.
Oh!
I don't know why I played this song.
Maybe I could guess.
It's music about... The game is about life. It's about becoming old and discovering life again. It's about being vulnerable with other people. It tells a story, and it's really pixely, and it has one of the greatest theme songs ever. Ooh. The game is Retired Men's Nude Beach Volleyball.
Yes, I remember now. It was just on because you were doing research for the show.
Yes,
and the previous episode,
that's probably
Brooke
why.
And Chris and Joe had all played this game, and it touched them all. Like, in the craziest way. Like, they were like, this game is amazing. And then you looked into it, and you felt the same way.
I thought it's so good. And you really have to play it beginning to end. You are old men playing beach volleyball, and you're all nude. But it's very pixely, cartoony. And it's really, really good.
It's an extremely heartfelt game.
It's so heartfelt. The music is by Calvero. And the creator of the game, Will Brierly, wrote the song. There is a 30-minute YouTube video by Calvero about how he put the song together because he's so proud of it. He wanted everyone to see how it went.
Well, Chris,
so
don't
good.
come in here. I'm doing research for the show. I just pictures like, Rob, what is this? It's a game. It's a game.
I was telling Christy, I was like, this is like the best song. This is the best song. And in the video of the guy making it was like, he said, your job as a producer, when someone sends you a really good song, is just don't mess it up. When it's perfect as it is, you just get out of the way and just let the song be the song. And it's so, so good. So we're going to listen to the theme song. I really wanted to play this early, too, because I want people to know about this music. The Retired Men's Nude Beach Volleyball by Calvero and Will Brierly.
You gotta play with your heart. Give it all that you got. Take a shot, serve it up on the bar with everything you got. Stand in the sand. You're a retired man. Yeah, this is life. Here you are, back and forth. This is your plan. Retired man's nude beach volleyball league. Retired man's nude beach volleyball league. Having fun in the sun with your friends at the beach. Oh yeah. Having fun in the sun with your friends at the beach. Oh yeah. This is your plan.
The top comment on this YouTube video, wherever it's shared, is why can't it be longer?
It's a really good song.
It's just it sticks. It sticks. That's number one. Number one, that beat every song.
Hey.
All of your songs, all of my songs. It beat every one of them.
Hey, let's not go nuts.
It's so good.
But I will say I do agree it deserves its place in the top.
It's in the top.
On the shelf.
Yeah.
Next to all the glistening trophies.
In fact, I'm going to go and revise my Masters of VGM.
This is
Calvero.
smack dab on Mount. Well, I mean,
Nobuo Uematsu, you're out of here.
get out. Well, I mean, Bedroff's inquiring about us doing it again next year. So if that happens, hey, you can.
I'll play it again. You thought I was going to play the dog song from Silent Hill.
Hey, that's not too late. I don't trust you. It's still in there somewhere waiting. Then again, you really couldn't, because even though you did, well, I guess you did play it during the year at some point, so you technically could. Sneak
I would
there.
just play it as a gag. I would play it as a gag.
Someone's got to remix that just to really add some iron to the skillet.
So we're gonna go out on the theme song.
Wait, no, we got one more. We got to do our honorable mention.
You want to do an honorable mention?
Yeah, the one that almost made the cut.
All right.
But had to get scratched off the list.
I have one bonus beats, but I'm not going to play it. I'll play it later. I'll mention it later.
Okay.
No. There was one that I took off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're doing the one that fell off the cliff.
The one that got away.
The one that didn't build his upper arm strength to pull itself up.
All right.
So, this last track, which I did cross off earlier in the episode because I had to make room for the Battle Bands track. This came from also episode 35-1, Hard as Nails with Chris Baines, aired November 16, 2022. This is my honorable mention. This came from the game Scourgebringer. The track title is called Frozen Keep and is composed by Junice Turner.
I can see why this is an honorable mention.
Yeah,
because it's really hard. It's really heavy.
Yes, this is like my metal contribution to the top tracks, but I love this OST. I love this track. It feels so good to my ears, and it really keeps the tension high. I still reference this game when it comes to like games I feel do momentum in the best way possible, kinetic motion and momentum, like just like bouncing off of things and hitting guys, propel yourself to the next enemy and dodging properly, knocking bullets back. It does it all perfectly. Like the only flaw it's got is that it's not delivered. It's like a roguelike. So, randomly generated rooms and stuff.
Right. So you could get stuck. Maybe not stuck, but you could.
It's hard to build a flow. Like you're just like, I'm going from room to room and something happens. But when you're in that room, it's knives out. Just get to stabbing. It's so good.
All right. So my honorable mention is from, good God. What was that? It was the Madden Effect, 33-1. This is the title theme from Bomberman World for the PlayStation. This is by Hirano Yamamoto. Yeah, that was a title from Bomberman World for the PlayStation by Hirano Yamamoto. I love that. It's got the fun jungle vibe mixed with the what's that game called? It's online. It was a RPG on the Dreamcast.
The RPG on Dreamcast. There's
Yeah,
Skies of Arcadia.
Online.
Oh, it was online. Phantasy Star Online?
Phantasy Star Online.
Oh my God, you had trouble remembering that one?
I see the P. But you don't normally spell the word fantasy with a P, Pernell.
That is true. Sega was doing its own thing with that.
They're doing their own thing, but I think that's what I liked about that track a lot. It's also like it's just a little too short though, so I kind of just nixed it out of the top 10.
Get it over.
Yeah, it lost its place. But yeah, so this has been our top 10 tracks plus the little bonus.
We had to have some form of bonus round in the back there.
Yeah. So I want to thank everybody for joining. I want to thank everybody who's been listening to the show for 7 years. If you've been listening since the beginning, or if you just joined with us last week, we really appreciate it.
Much agreed. It's just nice to, like I said, I say this all the time, but when we originally started the show, Rob had an idea. He missed Legacy Music Hour. He wanted to bring it back because it was like he felt there was a void in the ether out there. So he wanted to do a show. And he goes, "Hey, Pernell, you want to do a podcast?" I'm like, "Would people even listen to us?"
I was like, you'd be surprised what I listen to.
Yeah. And then in the end, I was like, "Okay, let's do it." Because in the end, I was like, I enjoy hanging out with my friend. And
on the beach. Oh, yeah.
But like, even if we only got like one listener, it would have been enough because that one listener's happy to listen to the show. So that was what it was all about. And for a while, there really was like no feedback. No one was like giving context or feedback or anything. But then I want to say the actual first reach out we ever got may have been from like Ed Wilson and them on like World 4.
Yeah, I think so. That was one thing when we started to like discover there were other people doing this too. They just started reaching out to each other. We probably should have done that from the start.
But then out of nowhere, we started occasionally, every once in a while, we would get emails. We would get people that were like, because we didn't have the Discord yet, so people were reaching out to us mostly through email, I think.
Yeah, mostly email. The Facebook was more of a thing early on. I had a Facebook group. And I got rid of that. I think actually it's still out there. I just don't look at it.
Yeah, because in the end, it's like I feel like most of the dialogue happens in like the Discord because the major dream was always to get people that would communicate with each other in the chat.
Yeah.
And then we could hang out with them when we have a chance. So it could just be like this organic space for people just to kind of come together and say, "I'm playing this game today," or "I'm listening to this great music track." It'd just be nice, Yeah.
But like the Discord was like a natural shift for the community for most video game communities. So I think for podcasters like us, it's just a great way to like kind of connect with listeners without having to be super invested into it all the time. It's just kind of like there as an app on my phone, and I kind of look at it every once in a while. So I'm not really active on Discord. Every once in a while, I'll have a couple of beers and make like a GIF-a-thon channel where everyone puts funny GIFs, and then I delete it immediately.
And I have bursts.
Yeah, you go in there and like, yeah, we kind of going through bursts, but it's a good place to. Also, it was like I was having to promote our live shows every month. I had to do it in like 6 different places, and I was just like, most people are on Discord. They understand Discord or the website.
Yeah,
it all makes sense. So, yes, this episode is live. It was free on twitch.tv/rhythmandpixels, where our radio station has been for the past, 5 or 6 months now. By the time this episode comes out, our radio station will be back on YouTube.
Signs everything from Square Enix.
If there's anything from Square or Enix or published by Square or Enix, it's not going to be on there anymore. You go to youtube.com/rhythmandpixels is our 24/7 radio station. It's coming back.
It's coming back, baby, in POG form.
I'm going to have to review the playlist one more time.
Yeah, if you want, you can send it to me. I'll do a double back too.
Yeah. I think we looked at it for a while. It's been a while since we looked at it again. So we'll go back and just make some safety cuts just to be sure. If you want to get in contact with us, if you want to talk to us about the show, if you want to say hi, if you have a track suggestion, topic suggestion, if you just want to say congratulations on 7 years, send us an email.
rhythmandpixels@hotmail.com.
And for a full track listing of this episode and access to all of our episodes, go to the website
rhythmandpixels.com.
Yes, so our feed only goes back 150 episodes. That's because I use WordPress.com, their hosted WordPress solution for the feed, and that's just where they cap it. And I think mainly because they think that the feed would be too much, it'd be too big to download if it was over 150 episodes. But most podcasts, they don't care. They just do it anyway. So I'm thinking about moving the feed somewhere, but I'm afraid to do that because then people's feeds are going to break.
Yeah.
And I don't want to break it, especially like on Spotify.
Oh, yeah, that's Spotify's where it's at.
Spotify. So it makes everything so much easier to listen to. Spotify and Apple are like the 2 big ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because YouTube is a weird one where it's like, sometimes it's like, are people using it? But you never know. Somebody might be at work and it's like, this is where they can get it. So they'll go to YouTube.
I use it because, like, especially for this episode, I was like trying to track down tracks. I'll look at the episode list, figure out what song was in that episode, and you can just jump to it on the chapters on the YouTube.
On YouTube.
So yeah, all the episodes are on YouTube. YouTube.com/rhythmandpixels. This we are airing this on Twitch, twitch.tv/rhythmandpixels. Soon will probably just be maybe some gameplay footage and some other stuff. We can use it to promote whatever you're going to do next. Actually, whatever you're going to do, we can just use the Rhythm and Pixels Twitch.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So we can just go off of that. So we can talk more about that later. We're going to continue our celebration after the show with pizza and board games.
Yeah.
So what we are going to do tonight. And then also, if you want to support our show, the best thing you can do is just tell people about it. Tell them about it.
Listen to them funky board game beats.
You can also go to patreon.com/rhythmandpixels and you can support us there. You get access to a monthly live stream of our episodes. We record an episode every month. I'm still crashing out at the end of every.
I love how it's not even. It's mid-afternoon.
I only have so much energy. I can only go so far. So you get access to that. At the higher levels of the Patreon, you get cool stuff like stickers. There's mugs. There's T-shirts. You can even put your own words, your own voice onto our YouTube station as kind of like a commercial every 10 or 20 songs. And we have some people are taking advantage of that. Some people aren't. You don't have to. We also like to thank all of the people on our Patreon who are at the highest levels every week on our show. So we want to thank Brooke, Frankly Zappa, and Khalid, the 3 of you. Thank you very, very much. You all are amazing people.
Much, much appreciated. Thank you.
Giving you all virtual hugs. Virtua hugs. We also want to thank number one. Thank Kristen, GameFan44. Thank you, Martyrus, Mike Myers, Ulf Person, Vashin8060, Brian Pitt, Cameron Worma, Carlos, Kung Fu Carlito from the Heroes 3 podcast, Chris Weisner, a.k.a. Musashi219.
The wise guy.
Christopher Senstrom, Chuck Kowalski, Davey Cakes, David Taylor, Enchilada Bagol, Harold Howard, Triple Jeff, Justin Schneider, host of XVGM Radio, Keith Shusterman, Michael Bridgewater, Rage Cage, host of the VGM. No. Host of the VGM Emporium. Got it mixed up. VGM
All the
Emporium.
muck that's fit to rake at a deal. Where's that bargain bins episode, man?
I want a 5-finger discount. Reinhard Selkova, Romancing Sagat, 81. Sleepy S'more, Stephen Miller, Taco, Ed Wilson, host of the VG Embassy, our podcast father, and Zach Thornbach. All of you, and many, 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 many more, thank you very much for your support of our show.
And thank you for sticking it out with us, all of you. This is, oh my God. It really does mean
It's been a
lot.
journey. It's been a big journey.
It really has. Like, our lives are literally in completely different places than they were when we started doing the show. Very different
places. Yeah. Like our I've gone gray.
I've got less hair.
Yeah, during the show. Yeah, a lot has happened, and a lot is still to come for us personally and for the show. I think the show is going to stay like a constant while everything else keeps changing.
Yes.
So that's kind of fun. So I like that.
That's just how it is. Like, and I think it's nice that people can kind of come to the show and kind of feel like, hey, these guys are hanging out. We can hang out with them. Like, it's that funny meme that people put out there where the kid's sitting on the ground eating ice cream next to the billboard. But I like to think that in some respects, we are the billboard, but we can actually talk.
Yeah.
Like, we're like, hey, because at the same time, it's like we encourage emails, we encourage the Discord. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, you are talking to a billboard during the airing of the show, but you're always welcome to come and chat when it's over.
Yeah, absolutely. And at MAGFest 2023, come see us on Saturday night. We'll be there all day Saturday, I'm sure, and all evening Saturday. So come find us.
The anxiety will be strong, but that's what makes it better.
I think we should organize like a podcast meetup. I'm sure some other podcasters will be there. I think that would be really, really good to get everyone together. So if you want to see us there, come say hi. If you want, I'm not going to shake hands, but if you want to do like that elbow thing that I do. I mean, I got the best elbow thing.
I mean, just wash your hands. I'll give you a hug.
I'll do it.
I just request when you go to the bathroom, wash your hands, 20 seconds, sing the happy birthday song. Soap and water, please.
You know what I do is I try to get the water on, but I leave it on until it gets really, really hot. And then I sing.
No, you don't. As your skin's melting into the sink.
But yeah. So see us there. Maybe we can all get a meal together. I think it would be a lot of fun. Maybe there's a concert that we can all go and hang out together to go see.
That'd be fun.
There's so much going on at MAGFest. It was overwhelming last year. I will be overwhelmed again.
As it tends to be.
Yeah.
The trick is to go knowing you can't do everything. So you just kind of wander.
I know. I just kind of wander. I was with Cameron, and God bless him. He just kind of stuck with me as I just was like, I want to go to this concert. I want to go to this concert. See you, Pernell.
Like,
I want to
later.
see everything. There's just too much to see. And
Pernell,
then
what are you doing? Playing U-Beat.
Yeah. I think I'm going to spend more time in the arcade, just playing games. That's just ultimately what I want to do anyway. So,
it's the way to go.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for listening to the show. Thank you everyone else who tuned in on Twitch to watch us. And here's to another 7 years of Rhythm and Pixels. Thank you very much. My name is Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
Have a great weekend.
And remember, again, just thank you for being supportive of our show. Thank you for hanging out with us and, going through the highs and the lows of our antics and adventures on this podcast. But most importantly, thank you for being friendly and supportive people, because I swear to God, the more I go on the internet, I go to different groups or like pages that people advertise, whether it's a top 10 list of games or favorite music or whatever, the amount of vitriol that people will spit for no apparent reason just blows my freaking mind. And it does weigh heavy on creators, whether the people realize it or not. At the end of the day, what people like is what they like, and if you disagree with them, rather than be a jerk about it, just say, hey, by the way, have you thought about this game or this track or this thing or this thing? But other than that, just be encouraging or say nothing at all. Both are viable tactics, but don't be a jerk. And I'm glad and appreciative of the fact that pretty much everyone that we communicate with that listens to this show, for the most part, are very supportive and friendly people. And I also think about that in the sense that you guys likely also pay it forward to other people you interact with as well on the internet, not just us. So thank you for being great people. And thank you for being extremely supportive of what we do and likely what your friends and family do as well. You're all great people. And thank you. Remember that mess.